All right, hello everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers. I am very, very excited today to be interviewing my good friend Dave Lozano Jr. Dave, how you doing, my friend?
Hey man, I'm great. How are you?
Good, good, good. It's
Happy
great
New
to see
Year,
you.
by the
Happy New
way.
Year to you. Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Speaking and a very happy New Year. This is going to be a very happy New Year because big news, and I will let you say it. There's big, big, giant news right now in regards to your old band Devastation. Something very cool just happened recently. And what is that?
Well, the Century Media and Sony took hold of it and re-released it, reissued it. And it's coming out on vinyl. Rumor has it might come out on CD soon, but we'll see.
Nice.
Um, yeah, this kind of took me by, surprise as well. And who would have thought, like almost 30 years later, we'd be back on to me, a major label. You know what I mean? Century
Yeah.
Media with Sony and all them, just to take interest in Mike Gitter, by the way, thank you so much for just putting in the time, dude. To talk about making an old man feel young all over again. You know what I mean? It's quite an honor, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
great.
and I mean, obviously, Idolatry, pivotal album, what released in 91, and really, kind of a seminal thrash metal album of that period, and so influential and so big to so many bands and so many listeners, one of my all-time favorite thrash metal albums, definitely. And it's
Appreciate
so
that.
cool that it's being re-released right now. Yeah, as you mentioned, through Century Media. It's available now if anybody wants to go buy it. If you don't have a copy of it, go right now to Century Media. Well, after you watch this interview, then go to Century Media, and grab a copy of it, because it's one of the best, hands down, one of the best thrash metal albums ever in history, in my opinion. And that's a hard opinion. Such a
Appreciate
great
that, man.
album.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, such a cool album. And it's so great that it's being re-released.
It sounds great, dude. You know what I mean? What's funny, and not to take anything, but being, I guess, remastered and all that, they were able to like bring up certain things and just, modernize it the way they do now on vinyl. They didn't really fix anything, but now there's more bass and just things that I personally wanted myself, and I got my way. You know what I
nice.
mean? Not that much, but it didn't need much. You know what I mean? It didn't need much polishing or whatever they do. It sounds awesome. You know what I mean? I don't, and maybe it's just as simple as because it's on vinyl. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah,
I have
I
it on
love
my
vinyl.
wall.
So.
I have it on my wall, dude, and that's the one thing me and my wife don't have is a hi-fi record player right now. And yet we need to get one because I haven't even heard that version yet.
Oh wow.
I'm I get it from everybody saying, "Holy shit, this is the best." I've heard this. This is incredible. When is it going to come out on CD or whatever? I was, man, I don't know. I'm hoping I'm already in their ear and possibly even on cassette.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just so retro's in apparently, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Cassettes are the thing right now. It's crazy. It's all the rage. It's nuts.
I would love to have a Devastation. I remember I signed them. I've signed them already. I was like, man, I can't believe I'm holding one right now, but I
Yeah.
don't have one.
That's
It's
insane that you don't have one. The drummer. That's
well,
crazy.
you know what? My daughter probably has one stashed somewhere, or even in my dad's um, storage areas and stuff like that.
Right.
Sooner or later, I'll come across it. But to be able to find it now, I find it more available now than in the past. It's so insane.
Yeah,
But
that's cool. That's so cool. That's such a I mean, it's such it's a testament to the talent of that band. When you look at, and I hope this doesn't sound negative in any way, but I mean, you look at, Devastation had a very short lifespan back then. It was, the band wasn't around for very long, but that kind of staying power and that kind of influence, it's obvious, and especially when, I mean, just the first notes when you first drop the needle. I mean, it's like, this is
yeah,
perfection.
that
This
intro
is
is
metal
pretty heavy.
perfection. Yeah, I mean, it just it's yeah, like from the get-go, like
That was a
every
fun
note.
time too, because Scott Burns and whoever was part of that, there was somebody else, but obviously the one that was doing it literally on keyboards, and it was like this little tiny closet. And I just remember a bunch of keyboards mounted all over the place, so it literally matched that eeriness. And
Yeah.
you know, you just hitting buttons, and this back then they just looked like supercomputers, dude. It's amazing the trigger module that I use, for Eric and everybody. They're so tiny. Dude, the thing that they put my stuff through, it was ridiculous. It looked like it should be a NASA supercomputer, because
Right.
it's this ginormous thing. And I'm all like, you're going to sit there? And he goes, no, you guys are going to leave and I'm going to do my magic. I'm not telling y'all everything. I was like, all right, well, shit. So overnight, I come back and Scott Burns just made it sound, the way I expected it to be with him,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
a master of, and it's funny, when you mention Scott Burns, you talk about, that those recordings, in Florida, back in 90, 91. And I mean, you literally were a kid. I mean, you were a teenager doing this. And I know we've talked before, and you told me that and I'll let you tell the story, but you got a brand new drum kit that day. Like
yeah.
basically, like when you went to Florida, they gave you a brand new drum. Like, yeah, will you tell that story? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that one day I'm at home, down the street skateboarding, because it's still not even I signed a contract where, and by the way, I was 21 by the time I recorded that album finally.
Oh,
But I was, I was throwing in reference to when I first started with them, really early on to where now. And yet most of that was done from when I was 19 and 20 as well. So it's not too out of the range, but my whole goal was by 21, I was going to record a record. And it did. So that was a big deal. But, dealing with him and a new kid, and I was like so nervous because this is the dude that recorded Sepultura, man.
yeah.
And that's all I could think about, dude. That's what I was skateboarding, is Beneath the Remains, and I just wanted that bass drum sound. I needed it, you know what I mean? I was hooked on it and this, that, and the other. So I've been used to my kit at home, and like I said, the drum sets that I bought, most of them were already put together.
All right.
I've never really had one from a box, and I'm sitting there and trying to play it off like, I know all this. And this dude's just sitting there just talking. I'm just like nervous, dude. Just like, I can't believe this is happening. Just play it off, just build the kit, there's really no time limit. And yet by the time I done it all and I started playing, dude, he just went and set up all the mics and just made me go at it. And yeah,
Wow.
within about 24 hours, we were done with most of them. It wasn't too many punch-ins. An enormous amount of changing my snare drums, man. He just wanted a certain sound. The consistency had to be. I never had to change so many drum snare heads.
Oh, really?
And to me, they didn't even look used. But what he was hearing, from his perspective, no, it's dead already. It needs to go. I'm like,
Wow.
fuck. Now I know why there's like a mountain of drum heads. I thought I was going to be able to take some home. Hell no. He made me cook it off. But it was fun. It was fun, nerve-wracking. And yet I had 29 days of being in Florida just to
Nice.
go, and I can't even remember, but I had fun,
Yeah, that's
But
crazy though. I mean, so you recorded an entire album of drumming in 24 hours. That's
yeah,
insane.
it
I
would
mean,
take a
that's
little bit more, yeah, because Henry was there, everything just started going in the pocket, so we might as well just play some scratch tracks. And Scott's theory was, man, I'm just gonna record it all. And who knows? This might be the one. And he was like, nope, you're not stopping. On
wow.
to the next one if you can. You know what I mean? To where I took breaks and stuff, but man, I was so pumped, dude. It was a great time. And in retrospect, I probably should have took my time and enjoyed it a little bit more. But the way I looked at it, time was money, and taking my time could have cost more, I guess, you know, because I didn't know what dealing with record labels and how they paid for this. I just paid for my old band's demos, and you know
Right, right.
that shit was not cheap. So,
Well, and I think that, I mean, that's also, you know, you look at, you know, you're 21, you know, it's your first record essentially, you know, like, you know, Scott Burns, you know, real, you know, kind of the big time. And I would imagine just, yeah, you know, you're young, you have this intensity, and that definitely comes across. So in some ways, I think it maybe it's a good thing that you did all of that so quickly, because that intensity really comes across on the album, I think. You know, yeah, I mean, it's a high intense drumming album, and I think, you know, maybe if you had taken more time, it wouldn't have had that same impact. I'm sure it would have, because it's you. You know,
you know,
you're
it's
a
funny,
great drummer, so
I learned that my first lesson of, you know, less is more is too, you know, stupid or whatever. And, you know, I'll never forget him saying, you know, because me and Henry are just playing through, trying to get used to the kid breaking it in. And he hits the playback. It's like, what, are you planning on doing a drum solo in each song or what? And I didn't know how to take that, dude. You know what I mean? I was like, what do you mean? You know? So what you're hearing actually was me scaling things down. I can't
oh
even
wow,
remember what I was doing for him to actually say that. And
wow,
yet you hear that and it's like all over the place to me, you know, it's still. And yet that was my first humbling and awesome lesson, you know, from him. That was a very humbling thing to hear from that dude. He goes, relax. I said that to Igor. I said to all of them, you know, like, right, you know, don't want to talk about it no more. Let's do this. And yeah, that was one of the greatest lessons, dude. I'm still honored to this day to remember that particular Scott Burns story, because that
that's
was just
cool.
me and him. You know what I mean? Like it was great.
That's really cool. I mean, that must have been great just to work, you know, one on one with the great Scott Burns. I mean, that's got to
Yeah,
be pretty incredible.
and you know what? He even got Igor on the phone and let me talk to him.
Oh shit! Wow.
Yeah, 'cause they were coming to do, I guess, a rise there soon thereafter. You know what I mean?
Oh
Or they
wow.
were already done it or in pre-production. I don't know what was going on. All I know is there was a reason why he had to call. He goes, "Hey, Dave, there's somebody who wants to talk to you." I was like, "Hey, shit." So next thing
That's
you know, he got me to talk to my drum guy, dude. I was like, "Oh my God, is this really him?" It was cool.
that's
That was
really cool.
that was a neat little thing.
That's
And
amazing.
to
That's
hear that dude say, "Never go out there and shred that shit," I'm like, "All right, I'm on it."
nice.
Yeah, that was killer.
That is great. And Igor's I met him once, and he's a super nice guy. He's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool.
the whole tribe is awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. Um, I don't know if you're at liberty to say anything at this point, but with the re-release of Idolatry, um, could that possibly mean any sort of future for Devastation?
Well, you know what's funny is Mike Gitter and company from Central Media definitely are kind of pushing that. They at least want to do one show, maybe in the future. The seed has definitely been set in
Cool.
motion. Now, whether or not it takes time, because you know a lot of the dudes either gonna have to come out of retirement, because you know what was talked about, if and when it ever happens, that they really, you know, everybody's still alive, still kicking. It'd be great to really have the original band go.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not that's putting a lot of pressure on some people that haven't been playing too much. Some have, some are not. Some of them I just don't even know, you know, right now.
Right.
I just know they're alive and they're all great, but what they're doing on their own, I just don't know.
Gotcha.
Um, but if I'm gonna try my hardest to at least get one showdown, to just bring it all one more time, and it's merely because of these type of interviews. You know, I have more drive to push things, and you know, now in the industry, I have so many friends that I've been working with, and now asking them for help or to push, or whether it's a good idea and this that, dude, it's over the top. It's over the
Nice.
top, and
Nice.
like, you know, Suffo dudes, they just love Devastation, dude. You know, Terrence, has me relearning stuff because he'll want to sound check with that. It's like,
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna try to play this with Eric's drum set, like, let's do this, whatever. But next time, when we go out soon, he's gonna be surprised on how much Dev I know.
Nice.
Like,
That's
oh yeah,
cool.
well, which song, dude? Which song? Let's do
Yeah,
this.
that's good. That's cool. I love that.
A little surprises for them next time.
Right on.
He just
Right
put me
on.
on the spot, and I was like, man, I haven't heard that song in years. What's wrong with you? Like, well, it made me look stupid in front of everybody. I was like, next time, buddy. So yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that. And well, and speaking of idolatry, so obviously the band Devastation put out the album Idolatry, but you have kind of continued, or you're starting to continue the legacy of the band also with your own band with your wife Carrie, which is the band called Idolatry.
Yeah.
And do you guys have some stuff happening? You got stuff coming up?
Well, I'm definitely planning on getting Carrie's first show. It'll be her officially just taking over the bass on it, and dude, she shreds, man. You know what I mean? And she's like, me and her, like, during this whole pandemic, dude, we've just jammed so much together. And we've had all our rigs. We were that fortunate to where, dude, we know each other so well. And she knows how to improv when needed. She'll, she's not the type to really, get nervous and stop or whatever. We've done some local shows back in Seattle, when we were living there, but she was there for a lot longer. And she was like playing bass for this band called Judas Priestess, which I ended up, when I ended up filling in, just playing, Judas Priest songs with a bunch of hot chicks.
You gotta love that.
So, that was great. And then we did this thing called Porn Jam, and dude, she's well-rounded. She claims she can't play the drums, man, but all she needs to do is just have patience and just learn.
Right.
But she knows all the other instruments, and she knows how to do them all and sing.
Nice.
She brings an open, different perspective on things. And with me, she's learning the heaviest shit she's ever played. And then the whole idea with Idolatry as well is, yeah, I get these, I get them to play the album, but it's merely to get us all on the same wave, the same page. Because I definitely, my future with Idolatry is to write new music.
Oh,
I
cool.
still have some unfinished business.
Nice.
And where that could lead, I have no clue. And, I'm very excited with that. And it's time to just go do some shows.
Yeah.
I'm just getting that itch. And she would have a blast, you know what I mean? So we're going to do a show probably in Seattle or the Bay Area just to test out the water soon, sometimes this year. Which Deva songs we're going to be playing, I don't know. Because I'm trying to learn some old demos stuff and really surprise people on that. But whether or not we'll headline or do anything like that, I don't know. I don't put too much pressure on them because learning those songs, watching youngsters learning these songs really, yeah, man, we wrote some heavy shit back then. Look at these dudes. They're squirming right now. And, man, this sucks. They're actually getting it now. Now I have to play, just like, oh. But yeah, it keeps me in check playing the Deva songs and gets everybody on that, either you can do those down picking, or you just can't. And right now, dude, there's some couple of dudes that when you see them playing, you're gonna be blown away. It's like, holy fuck, where do you find these dudes? And you're gonna love it, and it'll be fun. And yeah, Carrie's just gonna shred. So
nice. That's
awesome. There should be some magic coming up soon on that.
Very cool. That's exciting news. That's very exciting news. I can't wait to. Hopefully, you'll make it. Do you have any intention of kind of doing like a mini tour, like getting out of California, or?
Eventually, I would like to. We will go to Seattle and on the west.
Okay.
It all depends on how busy I am, but it's going to happen this year. She will get a couple of shows under her belt because I just think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Good for the soul, man. You know what I mean? Plus, going back to Seattle to have her play in front of her peeps, and she's not in a cover band, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah,
That's what happened.
right.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun, dude. That's gonna be so epic that would be worth live streaming.
Oh yeah,
To conclude, like,
definitely.
especially watching Merciful Fate and that girl that was playing bass for them. Did you see that last tour, dude? She was shredding.
Yeah, yeah.
She was doing just fine. So, that very much inspired Carrie to go, shred too. And dude, it's gonna be fun. It's just gonna be fun.
That is great. I want to circle back a little bit to what you said. You were talking about, Terrence, Suffocation. So for people that don't know, you're the drum tech for Eric Marodi. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, the drummer of Suffocation. And you're also the drum tech for Suicide Silence. And you've been
in the past.
Okay. And you've also done, Testament and Death Angel and Doro. I mean, you've been a drum tech for quite a while and done a lot of stuff. But you've been the Suffocation is kind of your main gig right now, right?
Yeah, those are the homies. That's my home right now. I will be, I've done so many of the Summer Slaughters, stage managing, but indirectly just drum teching for the gods. You know what I mean? And dude, I love doing it. You know what I mean? I love just being able to touch drums every day.
Nice.
That just makes me happy. And I'm very lucky to be able to do it. There's a lot of young dudes coming out that are bomb. You know what I mean? The chemistry I have with Eric is so magical. We have so much fun, dude. Nice. That he doesn't even need to tell me when things are going. I could already tell. We just know each other that way. And it's a blast, dude. It's a blast. And Terrence and me go so back, and they recorded with Maury Sound. There's so many different elements, that are just right there that are perfect. And, when they go to Europe, and I know it's so expensive sometimes to take their techs because everybody has their own European techs or whatever. And then, once in a while I'll get lucky and whatnot. But with, I'm filling in the gaps with a lot of bands. I have a possible Havoc tour with my boy Pete, hopefully in the summer or whatever, if it comes up. But rumor has it they're going to do a headlining tour. So I've known Pete and all them for so long. It'll be so awesome to just go back out and watch them headline. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was there when they first started, and look at them go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun, and I stepped outside the metal realm with that entertainer Gloria Trevi, and she's this international Latin star, dude. That was my first $10,000 gig.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I'm talking, this stage was so huge and over the top, hydraulics, dancers, hot dancers, dude, but costume changes, and dude, I've never, people were being fired on the daily, because this was no joke. Either you knew your shit or, and it wasn't just talking in Spanish. They were like Spain Spanish.
Oh yeah.
They talk so fast, dude, that the only way my mom would talk to me when I was in trouble. And that's how they talk normally. I was like, I just stuck to the stage. Oh, she must be talking. They must be talking about this, or
Yeah.
Am I in trouble right now?
Yeah, you have all these flashbacks of childhood.
Don't throw a shoe at me.
Yeah.
But it was great, and that made me grow in a different way. You know what I mean? I saw the most high-tech equipment in use that I've, to this day, it's mind-boggling. Wow. Carrie, I showed her, I was like, just look at this monitor board. When she came to go see it, it blew her away.
Wow.
It was over the top, we've never seen anything like it. Like I said, it was like a spaceship, man. And that was just the monitor board. I never even got to see the other board.
That's cool.
That we built the stage from the ground up too.
Wow.
We took everything. I'd never been a part of that before.
That's cool. How did you originally get involved in being a drum tech? What drew you to that facet of the industry? Where did you get started in that? What was that transition from being a musician to a drum tech? I mean, I know it's very similar, but
I don't know if it was really I kind of like, from my memory, I think I started doing stage managing gigs for like Summer Slaughter, Ash and all them from Sumerian, back before they were Sumerian, you know, that type of stuff. When that was all evolving, that's when I got to work with a lot of the baby bands and end up going on tour with the Faceless and stuff like that, just working for them. That's how I met Samus from Decrepit Birth, Dave McGraw from Cattle to Cat. You know, I mean, these were when they were all starting. So those tours, man, I kind of pushed the fact that this was the extreme tour where, man, the drummer, your band is only as good as the drummer in it. And I love big drum sets, obviously, and so all them dudes I just mentioned still use huge kits, you know.
Yeah.
10 bands of that crap. Boy, it put me in check. And you know what? I that's where I ended up doing, you know, stage managing that to just drum teching and getting more gigs just drum teching. You know, and getting me these days, I'm just gonna handle the stage anyway because I know my drums. You know, I'll learn their ways and still want to go, you know, and help out with the rest of the stage and stuff like that. So it's I don't want to say almost 18 years I've been doing this. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, I've always been helping out, or they've been using my kit. You know, like when I was living in the Bay Area, my other drum set, most of the drum gods, man, used it at one point.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? It was awesome. And yet I wish I still had it, but ironically enough, this is the same kit, just different color.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, times were tough and I had to just pay the rent, you know, and then
Right. Yeah.
I brought it all back and, you know, still playing them Devastation songs.
Nice. Yeah, that is a good thing. That's a very good thing, my friend. That's so cool. It's got to be amazing to kind of be on the other side of, you know, not being in the, you know, on the seat, but being on the other side, you know, being in the back and being able to travel with these guys and just see all these shows. And it's got to be, you know, pretty rewarding, I would imagine, to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, from the smallest shows to even the difficult ones, man. You know what I mean? The ones that require you to be more knowledgeable and you're like looking at secret YouTube videos and making sure you're checking your list and checking it twice because that's what is needed for this. And, you know, not that I slacked on any of them. It's just, you know, certain bands just require certain things, and being a good shape-shifting drum tech is definitely needed, I think. You know what I mean? To be able to socialize and not fanboy out because secretly these are your drum gods, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And know that little border. And yet for the up and coming ones, well, they're all kick-ass, dude. You know what I mean? And yet it gets to a point where I'm not gonna just inflate those heads. You know what I mean? Just keep shredding, and that kept me young. It kept me more, you know. The first time I seen like the Faceless and Suicide Silence, I was like, oh my God, metal just got reborn in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were impacting levels of metal that I've gone through my whole life. And to be a part of the younger generation and not, you know, I miss playing. And look, who'd have thought that I might possibly hit the stage in the future again because of them.
Yeah.
You know, and it kept me young and very humbled. You know, cool. It's made me feel like I have to go back to learning again, and I accept that challenge. That's all fine.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah, that's great. That's so cool. Well, Dave, as always, it's always a great pleasure chatting with you. I can't wait to see what comes from this year with you know, the possibility of Devastation doing something again, which is incredibly exciting, and then also your band Idolatry. I'm really excited to see what happens with that. So for everybody watching, please check out I've got links in the description below. You can check out Idolatry's Facebook page, and then also I've got a link to Century Media, so you can like go right to it and pick up brand spanking new copy of one of the greatest thrash metal albums ever, Idolatry by Devastation. If you don't have that in your collection, then you are a sad person right now. You need to get that now. So just kidding. But no, I mean, really, but seriously, it's such a fantastic album, like all the way through. It brings me such joy to listen to that album, you know, as it did back when I was a kid to now. It's still, you know, I was listening to it today, and it's mind-blowing how incredible that album is, and just the influence. I mean, you can hear how it's impacted so many bands now, even, you mentioned like
Yeah, you know what's funny from a drummer's, I think you can literally hear my influences.
Yeah.
You know, I literally, it's funny. It's like, man, was I listening to that at that time, or that had that similar vibe, or you know, you know, I just love being able to go back and, oh yeah, I was listening to that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
The older I get, I don't know about you, man, but some new weird memory pops up into my head
Oh
that I
yeah,
didn't
totally.
remember yesterday. You know, hey, but before I forget, I have to tell you this. This is going to be
Oh,
great. Speaking of drummers and drum techs and this, that, and the other, I did an interview with Eric in New York, at this Suffocation home show with Internal Bleeding and a couple of others, and I'll remember the names in just a minute. But I don't want to forget this. It's extreme metal drummer documentary.
oh, cool.
And yeah, dude, this chick, and her name is Amanda, and she's so cool. Her little team they're great. I never thought I would be invited to be part of the interview. I mean, I just worked for for Eric and the drummer for Internal Bleeding, and all of a sudden she's all like, "No, you're gonna be in it because I did my investigating on you, and you're deserving of being in my documentary."
Awesome.
And I told her it's being put together by let me see, I have it written down, Gloomy Media Production, but it's just prod.com, but
Okay.
Gloomy Media prod.com.
Cool.
And that's her new website. They're putting together this documentary, dude, and from what I hear, everybody's going to be on it.
Nice.
Everybody doing interviews, talking about the influences. To my devastation, man, she put me on the spot, dude. It was crazy because I just gotten a root canal.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, that was a brutal Suffolk show, but hey, I made it happen. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was crazy, and Carrie was there too. And yeah, it's gonna be coming out soon.
Nice.
I will definitely send you the info and a
Yeah,
link to
please.
her stuff, and it's gonna be epic. And from what it's being pitched to some people, and who knows, it could end up on a big ass network.
Awesome.
I'll
That
just leave it
sounds
at that.
great. That
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
and
Yeah.
within the next year or so, because she's still in the middle of making it,
Okay.
but she's almost done. And yeah, they're on it, dude. This is actually gonna happen. It's gonna be awesome.
I can't wait to see that. That sounds great. That sounds very
Yeah,
cool.
it's just a whole documentary on extreme drummers, what they go through now, the physical part of it, the mental, their techniques, they're wanting to be perfectionists in their techniques, this, that, and the other. It's gonna be rad, dude. I mean, she
Yeah.
just blew me away on her perspective, and it was all about drums. I
Cool.
was like, great, dude. And to be asked to be a part of that was awesome. So
That is great.
I definitely want to make sure I mentioned that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
GloomyMediaProductions.com.
I can't wait to see that. That sounds incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's gonna
sounds
be great,
amazing.
man. And it was a lot of fun, dude. Our interview was just funny. It's funny. It was
Nice.
great.
I
Yeah,
can't
it
wait to
was.
see that. That is
Mhm.
awesome. Very cool. Well, you heard it here. You got to check that out when that comes out. We'll definitely and I'll definitely post some links to that when that's available. In the probably next year or two, whenever it's released. So that's great. So Dave, thank you so much. As always, a great pleasure chatting with you, my friend.
Yeah, man, no
Have a,
worries.
have a great night.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me again. To the